Hello again. We are a little overdue for a basement update. We're getting real close to the end here, so let's go down and take a look, see what's going on down there. It's going to look messy in some ways, but it's not bad. Again, we're going down the stairs, and you may have noticed that the walls don't look as bad at the moment down in here. And that's because we've had paint show up. We haven't done all the way up yet, but we've got some areas done. Over here, we have a problem with the drywall at the very bottom here. But what we're going to do is we're going to extend the base of the stairway trim, because we're going to put trim at the bottom edge, and we're going to extend it all the way over on this one wall so it matches, and then covers up that gap. So that gap won't actually be there. And then we'll put regular molding at the bottom in other places. But the floor down here looks horrible, and that's because we've gotten a lot of stuff done. Like this section over here, the walls and this pole are all pretty much done. But what really excites me is the ceiling. The ceiling is painted black, and I think it looks sharp. There is some touch-up spots that still need to be done, but because of that, we've got a lot of black soot and whatnot on the ground. You can see the painter supplies down there. I would personally say that you should probably be a little glad that this is not like smell-o-vision, because there's a pretty bad odor down here. It'll dissipate, I know, because he just finished a few hours ago from what he was doing down here today. He'll be back on Monday. But yeah, it could be a little bit better in some places. But yeah, so we've got, so like right over there, it looks like there's some touch up on the black that needs to be done there. And there's some other places that need touch up. The other thing I'll point out is right through here, we're missing that bulbous pipe that used to come down. So the bulbous pipe used to basically come from about here and go over here. You can see the patch, they patched the hole, but what they did is they extended this over towards the beam, and then they used a square box to send it over to the same place over there. So basically now that thing is tucked up further out of the way, and I don't have that bulbous pipe kind of coming down and back up again in the middle of the ceiling, and I think it looks much better than it did before. So we still have, we've got this pole here painted, we've got this pole over here painted. He was working earlier on the bathroom, as a matter of fact, as I recall. I saw him in here. Yep, bathroom's had some paint going on. So you can see how that looks really nice. And so, we'll put trim on the bottom again in here. Probably not around that box back there, a little maybe on the left. That's about it. And we'll start it again over there and come around. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I also decided for this stone wall, which is the cinder block wall, which is where the fireplace is upstairs, one of them. And then also the fireplace that's down here. At one point, as you may recall, I was thinking about putting faux stone around it to match this stone, but I decided against that mainly because I may end up putting shelves there, and then if I do that, the faux stone is just covered, so why bother? So he's going to prime that and paint it also. We're going to probably just go the same color that we've got on the walls here already. Not going to mess with things. We're going to go through that. And so we're getting close. We're really getting close. I will also leave another little funny story. Last Saturday, I woke up early for me and to a noise in the house. And I was thinking to myself, well, maybe my electrician showed up to do some more work, because there's a few more things he can do, although he's in the middle of buying a house. So I wasn't really expecting to see him. I checked my phone and he hadn't texted me, because he usually would do that. And I'm like, okay, that's not it. And I walked out into the rest of the house and I looked around and I got all the way past the staircase to the basement, and I was looking around in the living room. When all of a sudden I noticed a bird fly from one of the rafters in the living room in towards the kitchen. And I have no idea how the bird got in. Now my biggest thought is that he got in through this hole right here for the chimney. It should be closed up there, and they actually did put a new flue thing up there, so I'm not really sure how that happened, but maybe not. The only other possibility is if he got into the garage and then somehow got in through the door between the garage and the rest of the house. It's just really weird. So I ended up opening the sliding glass door in the kitchen, and basically between when I first found him and he flew out, under 5 minutes went by. So he was not in here that I was aware of for that long, but I did hear the noise several times before I fully woke up, I think. So he may have been in for a little while longer than that, but I'm just not 100% sure how we got in. So it's kind of a little bit of a mystery. It may be here, it may be somewhere else. But yeah, again, this ceiling, I think it just looks amazing. We've got this off-white here that we've used for the walls. And we're probably going to go with a light gray on the floor. And we're going to do that before we put the base molding in, so that it covers that and we don't have to worry about painting the molding or anything like that. But basically, yeah, we're going to go in and get a paint/sealant on the floor. Once that's done, I can start working on setting up a system of shelves, wooden supports for all the acromills. I need to take some measurements down here. Again, I think they're going to end up in this section over here as opposed to this section over here, because this section here is smaller and I don't think it's going to work. I spaced it out and it's just a little too tight to do what I had been wanting to do in this area. So because of that, we're probably going to shunt it over here and come up with some system. The one thing I do have to be aware of, and I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video or not before, but over here on this wall, between that plug and that vent, there used to be a window in the basement. Well, it's still there. We just drywalled over it, because what they're going to do come spring is they're going to open up that part of the wall and they're going to give me an egress window. There has to be some work outside too, because the point upon which it leads out to is underneath a deck. So we're going to have to put a hatch in the deck so that once you get out of the building, you can basically swing the hatch open to get out the rest of the way. But yeah, I can't get over what it looks like down here. I'm really getting excited. Things are getting real close. I'm thinking by mid-February or a little bit after, perhaps. Well, today is what? Today's the 5th. Probably a little middle 20th or so. I could actually be down here putting up drawer units and getting some tables down here and all that sort of fun stuff. I would like to put shelves in as well for displays, which may all end up in that section over there. I have an idea of what I'd like to get for those. However, I can't get them terribly locally, so we'll have to see about that. I may be doing a rent a truck and go to IKEA in another state type run. We'll see. The closest IKEA to me here physically is in Canada. And because of that, I can't get there at the moment. And the next closest one is like down in Philly or New York City. I don't really relish driving to one of those locations, so there might be one in Ohio I'll go to. Not really sure. It's up in the air at this point. But anyway, that was the update. It's a little bit longer than perhaps other ones, and I've rambled along quite a long time, so I'm going to let everybody go, and thank you again for watching. If you've got any comments, please leave them down below. I do try to reply to everything.